and good morning, good afternoon, and very good evening to you, the good people of the tube. Hope today, hope you're feeling grand and all is well in your world today. Hello there, everybody. Turned into a robot. Is this the real Dave? We don't know. It could be a robot. Anyway, hello everybody. I hope you're feeling good today. We're on another Q&A Wednesday, everybody. So let's jump in with question one today. So question one today is. Oh, and I also need to talk about something I did with the backing track before it gets uploaded tomorrow. I'll do it at the end though. Hopefully, if I remember, which I should. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I'm a bit stupid, so we don't know. Anyway, if I don't remember to say it, it'll be in the description box below. Okay, so anyway, question one. Question one. Have you played through any of the H&H solid-state amps from the 70s? Yes. When I worked in Old Hat, there was quite a lot. I'm eating my own hair. There was quite a lot of those old 70s H&H, well, HH amps. I always call them H&H. I don't know why. They're HH amps. There was quite Norman, the owner of Old Hat, had quite a lot of them. We never sold one, and we never pushed them because I really didn't like them. Oddly enough, actually, we actually fired one up one day. Nearly fired up, nearly being the actual proper term as well, as it nearly actually set itself on fire. And within 5 minutes of me playing through it with this certain tone, me, Joe, and John, the other guy who I worked in Old Hat with, we all started to feel really sick. And it was the frequencies that the amp was kicking out that was making us feel sick. It was really, really uncomfortable. And as soon as we turned it off, we felt fine again. But it kind of like gave us this really weird wave of nausea, and it wasn't very nice. But I've got to say, I haven't played for a HH amp that I've liked. I used to own, and I say I used to own because I accidentally left it in Old Hat. It's probably still there. I used to have a HH PA head, which was really cool. That sounded okay, but again, it had these. It was a bit. Yeah, I mean, it was never amazing. It never wowed me. It was really cool as a PA, and it was really, really cool as a guitar amp, but it wasn't, it wasn't amazing. But I took it into Old Hat one day because Norman had recently bought the two concentric PA speaker cabs that head would have originally come with as a full PA set, and I took my head in as a display item basically, so we could display it because I don't think he was thinking of selling these concentric stacks. So I thought, I'll bring my PA head in. Because he actually said it'd be really nice if we got the PA head. And I said, well, I've got one at home. I don't use it. So I said, I'll bring it in for a while so we can use it as a display. And when I left, I forgot it. And it's probably still there. And that's annoying. So that's my own stupidity. That's nobody's fault but mine. And because I'll never go into Old Hat again, I'm not going to go and ask for it back, so to say. So, water pedal's still on. But yeah, so I did have a HH PA head. It was like a 100-watt PA head. It was okay, but it wasn't great. The guitar amps I didn't like in the slightest. We had one with all these effects. The pedals were about that big, and they plugged in via. It was like almost like a MIDI jack. It was a weird kind of MIDI, kind of like 8-pin kind of deal that plugged into the front of the amp. And we had a couple of the pedals. We had a fuzz and a phase and a tremolo, I think over the 3 pedals, and they actually slotted together in this kind of like weird way. It's like if like one was here, the other one would kind of like, you'd put it there and then you'd like slot it down, so you could have this like weird little pedal board, and it plugged into the front of the amp. We had one of them, and the effects were great, but the amps, I just didn't like the sound at all. And I think Mark Bolan used them for T-Rex. I think quite a lot of those T-Rex songs are the HH amps. But yeah, I didn't like them myself. They weren't really my cup of tea at all. Much in the same way as I didn't really enjoy certain other amps that we had in Old Hat. I could go on for hours about that. I'm not going to actually. I'm going to stop myself because that'll turn into a waffle. But I have played through quite a lot of those HH amps, but I wasn't a fan. But I still do wish I still had the PA head. It was really cool. I mean, when you turned it on, the whole front panel, it was like a plexiglass panel. When you turned it on, it glowed like this kind of like greeny blue colour. It looked really cool. And in all fairness, I miss it. Because it it wasn't the best amp in the world to put guitars into or a vocal mic into, but it had a very distinct character that'd be quite cool. And yeah, I missed that, and it's my own stupid fault. I left it in Old Hat because I was so kind of the way Old Hat ended so abruptly, it kind of like discombobulated me, if you will, if that's the word to use. I was a bit confused by it, because to this day I don't really know why me and John had to leave. I really don't, because the shop's still open. Because he said he said he was shutting shop for good, and then he didn't. And I was like, well, why did we have to leave then? If you weren't shutting the shop for good, why? You know, what's the deal there? But anyway. There's nothing as funny as people, trust me. Okay, yeah, so I left it, yeah, and that was stupid. That was my own stupidity. It's nobody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody but myself for that one. That's my own stupidity. And like I say, I'm never going to go to Old Hat again just to go and pick it up. I don't want to be near that shop again in my life. It ended bad enough that it's left a very, very bad taste in my mouth. So yeah, I have played through quite a few HH amps from the 70s, but I'm not a big fan. And the weight of them as well was horrific. They were really heavy and they looked ugly as well. I always thought HH amps looked really ugly. I didn't really like it. Okay, so you also asked, do you have a preferred patch lead make? Not really. No. The patch lead I use on my pedal board in here, and the one patch lead I have on my gigging board with Line 6 HX and a wah-wah pedal, are Boss patch leads, and they're really, really good. But other than that, I'm not really that fussy. As long as the patch lead does its job, I'm happy. You do get the cheapo ones that I've got a million of. I think we've all got a million of these cheapo, different coloured patch leads that eventually will go a bit crackly and a bit kind of like, you know, every time they kind of move, and sometimes the jacks are a bit iffy. But I don't really care about make of patch lead, really, to be honest with you. It's like I've never plugged in a patch lead that's really expensive or really cheap and heard much of a difference. The only other difference I've ever heard, I'm sure there is, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. But the main difference I have had, I've got these Fender patch leads. They're kind of like a coil, like a coil lead. But they're really small. They're about that big, and they coil out so you can stretch them quite far. And they're really, really cool. But they had a lot of high end, and I don't really like them as much. I used to use them as a jumper cable when I had my small box plexi. They were really, I don't know, for some reason they sounded really good as a jumper lead. I don't know if it was the brightness that this cable added, but other than that, yeah, I don't really have a preferred. As long as it does its job, I'm a happy bunny, really. As long as it actually just, like, you know, jumps pedal to pedal and did you hear that? Am I going mad? I don't know. It sounded like an air horn. Okay, anyway, it's the driver from Jewel coming to get me. But yeah, I'm not really that fussy. As long as it does its job, I'm a happy bunny, really. I've got loads of patch leads that I've used for years and years and years. My first ever patch lead is just one of those cheapo white ones that you get. It's about so big, and that's a great little patch lead, and I still use it now. I got that about 3/4 of a year into playing guitar because I needed one. I had no idea what they were called. I went into the local guitar shop in Grimsby, said, "What do you have a lead that joins pedals together?" And he was like, "A patch lead." I was like, "Yeah," because I didn't know what it's called. And he was like, "Yes," and I got it, and that still works, and it sounds great. You know, it doesn't seem to lose any low end or high end, and doesn't seem to degrade the sound or anything. So, you know, I don't know. I really don't know. But my favourite of these Boss ones, they actually came with the Boss pedal board. I used to have a Boss well, I still have it, but I don't use it. It's a Boss PC something. It's like a moulded plastic pedal board, and it's the patch leads that came with that. And I've always loved them. I've just always used them, and you get, like, you know, these super, super long ones and just the nice kind of like short ones, and I've just used them. And they're gold kind of like jacked. They're kind of gold jacks, and I don't know, they just sound really good to me. But like I said, I'm not really that fussed. As long as it does its job and it doesn't completely ruin the sound. or make it sound brighter or darker. I say like those Fender ones make it too bright. I don't like it. I can hear that difference. And I've heard, no, I can't say I've heard any of it darken it down or anything like that. So as long as it does its job, I'm a happy little bunny. Really, I'm very easy to please when it comes down to stuff like that. As long as it works, I can deal with it. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that goes, it has to be this and it has to be that. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't really matter as long as it works and it sounds good. Regardless, it could be made out of whatever. You know what I mean? As long as it works and it sounds good and it's actually reliable, then I'm a happy little bunny. Okay, so yeah, I don't really have a preferred patch lead make unless it's Boss, but which is what I use all the time, really. But I've got loads of others that I have used in the past and still love as well. So yeah, it varies really. Okay, so you also asked, do you like the playing of Michael Schenker? I don't really listen to him. He's not a guitarist that's on my radar at all. So I can't answer that yes or no. I have heard him play and he's an awesome guitarist. Awesome guitarist. And I do like his sound, but he's not a guitarist who I, would ever really study or go after listening to or anything like that. If you know what I mean. He's not a guitarist that's on my radar, so to say. So yeah, I do like his playing and I like his sound, but again, it's not really my kind of thing, so to say. But yeah, I mean he's got a name for himself, and he didn't get that name by being rubbish, so to say. Does that make any sense? I don't think that makes any sense. But anyway, yeah, it's not really music or a guitarist or a guitar style that I really listen to, so I can't really comment too much. But like I said, I do like his sound, I do like his playing, but it's not kind of like, pitting Jimi Hendrix or John Frusciante off their spot, kind of, so to say. So I he's great at what he does, but it's not for me, if that makes any sense. I could have just said that to start with, but we're here to tangent. Okay, so I hope that's the question. Moving on to question 2 now, everybody. Question 2. It's really warm in this room today, and the radiators aren't even on, which is good because it's really hot outside. Anyway, and it's really, 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 really warm. Okay, so what's your take on Gretsch guitars, the White Falcon in particular, and are they harder to play in comparison to a Strat? Depends on the Gretsch. Playability wise, it depends on the Gretsch and how that guitar is set up. I personally have always found Gretsch's ridiculously easy to play. Just in general, I've always found them easy to play. The one thing I have a hard time with, especially because you mentioned the White Falcon, is the size. I'm not a very big person. If I turn sideways, I go 2-dimensional because there's nothing to me. So when I play the White Falcon, I think I demoed 3 in Old Hat. I demoed 2 reissues and an original 1958 stereo, which was one of my favourite all-time guitars. I've just pulled my volume knob off. That's clever. Okay. They were just like playing grand pianos. The neck and the action were gorgeous, and they're very easy to play. But this body is like, especially if you're tiny. So I don't know how Malcolm Young ever got away with playing his. I don't know how he did it because he was tiny as well. But I always find Gretsch is easy to play. I reckon a Strat you have to kind of work at a bit more than a Gretsch. I think Gretsch is a very easy to play off. I always find them very... my friend Dan, the singer of Dukes Deluder, he recently got a Gretsch limited edition guitar. If you've seen some of the recent footage of a band, you'll see it's got a P90 in the neck, which sounds absolutely glorious, absolutely stunning. And that guitar I find so easy to play. Like, so, you just literally fly on it. You can absolutely fly on it. But again, I do have a problem with bigger bodied guitars. Dan being literally like a human mountain, doesn't have that issue. It looks like normal on Dan. On me, it looks like a grand piano. But that's a gorgeous guitar. But again, it's so easy to play. I think a Strat kind of fights you a little bit more, which can be a good thing sometimes. Other times it can be a really annoying thing, because sometimes you just kind of want, just an easy kind of way through, so to say. So, yeah, I mean, I really like Gretsch guitars. I've always wanted to have a Gretsch guitar, and I've had two in the past. I had the gold top, which I eventually sold because I just getting. I'm too heavy-handed for a Bigsby. Like Bigsby's, you've really got to be feather light with the Bigsby, especially for cheap Bigsby's. As long as you don't kind of like, you know, go into it like that, then the Bigsby will be okay. But for me, I'm quite heavy-handed, right hand wise, and I was just knocking out a tune all the time, so I had to sell that one. I also had another one, which oddly enough I sold to Dan as well, which was the black Electromatic, which immediately, as soon as I got it, I didn't get on with, and sold it pretty much like the next day to Dan. It just didn't work for me. Again, they play really nicely, but there's just something about the feel of them that I just don't click with, which is really annoying because I love Gretsch guitars. But I have just remembered, I did once put out an old hat. I actually demoed it. It was a Gretsch Duo Jet, or an original. It was like a 57. I bet it's not. I bet it's not 57 at all. But I think it was a 50s Gretsch. I don't know. I could be totally wrong with that one. Or was it a 60s? I don't remember. I'd have to go back into the videos. But it was a red Duo Jet. And it had the two switches on top. And it was just absolutely... It was the best Gretsch I've ever played. It sounded amazing. It felt amazing. It looked amazing. It just was stunning. It was sad, though. It was a really sad guitar in the fact that on the back of the guitar, where the two switches on top are, there's like a plastic panel on the back so you can access obviously the switches, just something like a Les Paul. On the back of it said to, I can't remember the name of the person, it said to such and such, Happy Christmas from Grandad, and it was just like really, it was just really sad to think that that guitar was given to somebody on Christmas from my granddad. It was probably the granddad's guitar, and he gave it to either his grandson or his son or like a, you know, or whatever, and eventually it just ended up like, you know, in a guitar shop, you know, up for sale. It didn't remain in the family, which is very, very sad to me, and it kind of tinged the guitar with this kind of weird hint of sadness that I could feel really deeply. So I was like, this guitar doesn't belong here. You know what I mean? It really felt like it doesn't belong here. It belongs with the family of whoever this is. There was never any last name. It was just two first name. And that was it, really. And it was, that to me was really quite sad, because when a guitar's got that much meaning, and who knows how many generations that guitar had been passed down through. Maybe the family didn't want it anymore. I don't know. But I do feel that something like that is really quite important sometimes. But, you know, that's just my opinion on that one. It doesn't really mean anything, because well, it doesn't necessarily mean anything to, you know, to other people. It doesn't have to mean anything. But to me, it was really kind of like, you know, I don't know, it's quite upsetting, quite sad in a way. It really quite, because I was playing the guitar and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. I was loving it, and I looked on the back and I saw that, and I was just like, oh my god, that really pulled on the heartstrings. I was just a bit like, it really got me. It got to me, actually. It really gets to me now, actually, thinking about it. It's really strange. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does. But yeah, I don't know what to say. But yeah, Gretsch guitars. Let's get back to the actual subject. Tangenting off. Yeah, Gretsch guitars. I've always loved Gretsch guitars. I reckon they're a lot easier to play than a Strat. It's like they're like a Les Paul. You can just fly on them. You know, a Strat or a Telecaster will give you a bit more resistance. Not necessarily like bad resistance, but like, you know, it will give you a little bit more. Whereas a Gretsch or I've always found Les Pauls or 335s are very kind of like, they're very easy to play, like very easy guitars to play. Well, to me anyway. Again, I can only speak from my perspective on it. But I always feel just at home with a Stratocaster. I've always felt at home with a Strat. As soon as I got my first one, I was just like, this is me done. But yeah, so yeah, Gretsch guitars are great. They really are awesome, and I've played some absolutely stunning ones. And that 50s stereo one, which I did through its Stereo King set of amplifiers, the guitar had a baseball bat of a neck, but you didn't feel it. It was weird. If you look at the neck, you were like, whoa, how the hell are you supposed to play that? And as soon as you put your hand on it, you're like, That's how. It was literally that weird. And I want to do a video actually soon of like, you know, my top 10 favourite guitars that I played in Old Hat, because I don't know, I'd quite like to revisit it, you know what I mean? I'd quite like to make a video on that, like, you know, what were top 10 guitars that I played then were, if that makes any sense. So I might do that at some point. If you'd like to see that, people of the tube, let me know in the comment section below, because I don't want to make it if you know, if plenty of people say no, I don't really want to see that. I'd rather you do something else, because that's more important. That is a lot more important. Okay, so yeah, Gretsch guitar's great. Okay, so yeah, I ain't got anything else to say on that. If I do, I don't. No, I've got all funny talking about that red Durojet now. It's funny. Anyway, okay, I'm going to move on to question 3 now. I'm going to try and get my head screwed back on. Okay, so question 3. I am 53 and I've just started learning the guitar. I practice 1 to 2 hours a day. How long do you think it'll take to be able to play a solo like the one you did in the Boss Katana 100 video? Right, now I can't answer that. That's an impossible question to answer. I can't answer because it depends. This totally depends on your what's the word? How you progress. You know what I mean? That's not quite the word I'm after, but it totally depends on how quick you progress. You know what I mean? It could take a month, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, 3 years. I mean, I've been playing 17 years in May. And first year I couldn't do solos, couldn't do anything. I could play chords, but I had no rhythm, so everything sounded like this. You know, it was all downstrokes, and let me just turn that reverb off. So it was all down-picked, and so that was the first year. Second year I started to get into more kind of like interesting guitar playing, stuff like solos, like Slash. I got into Slash. Towards the first year of my playing guitar, I got into like Slash and wanted to start learning guitar solos. And actually the first year I started to try and learn the Godfather theme that Slash plays, and certain other bits and pieces. It wasn't until playing guitar for about 3 years I was able to kind of do Jimi Hendrix stuff. I was in the third year of playing guitar, I could do stuff like Little Wing and Voodoo Child and Purple Haze and Foxy Lady, and also stuff like Yngwie Malmsteen, like that Far Beyond the Sun. But that's because I'm obsessive over the guitar, and I played every day for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So it's kind of an impossible question to answer, because I don't know how quick you're going to progress at the guitar. So, like I say, I don't know. But if you want to be able to just kind of like do those solos, then you kind of want to be kind of like, that's the aim you want to be going for, is kind of like, okay, learning your minor pentatonic scales in 5 positions up and down the neck, learning solos, you know, learning kind of like, you know, 'cause it's a kind of a bluesy solo at the beginning of a Katana 100 video. So you kind of want to be going down that route of just learning guitar solos, but it's really important to understand chords as well. So I don't really know. I don't want to say, oh, well, it'll take you about a year, because I could be wrong. It could take you less. It could take you more. You know, I really don't know. I really can't answer that question. Like I say, it took me about 3 years to be able to kind of like comfortably be able to play solos. You know, to an ability where it flowed. You know what I mean? So it's really hard to say, really, but like I say, I would just focus on the kind of like learning solos then, kind of thing. Learn your chords. Learn a 12-bar blues, like a 1-4-5, like say G minor, C minor, and D minor. You just learn and just start diving in with trying to get, like, you know, the solo technique going, because your fingers when you first start playing guitar aren't dexterous enough to do this kind of thing. They're not going to do that. They're just going to go like, you know, just that. They're not going to do that. They don't understand. You need to teach them. It's all muscle memory and hours and hours and hours. And like I say, practicing 1 to 2 hours a day, it should start to click fairly, you know, quickly, so to say. So, you know, just one thing I will say is don't rush. Never rush. Just let it happen naturally. If you're going to rush it, you're going to force it, and it'll never happen. Don't try and force anything. You want to be nice and easy with it and let it just come naturally. Because it will eventually. You just got to be patient. You just got to take your time, and you just got to get just practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. Eventually, yeah, you will get. You will get there, and sometimes you will get annoyed. It's as simple as that. Sometimes you'll want to do it and you can't do it. But that you know, and that's just the way it is. Even that happens to people now. I'm sure of it. I'm sure there's like professional guitarists who one day can do one thing on guitar, next day they can't. You know, it's just the way it is. It's just, you know, it's just one of those kind of like little things that we have to deal with as guitarists, so to say. But yeah. So just take your time with it. Take it nice and easy. Don't rush it. Just let it come naturally. And I don't know. I can't give you an honest time of how long it'll take you to be able to do that because I don't know how quick you're going to progress, and I don't know how you can play at this point in time. So yeah. So I can't really answer that one, so I do apologise immensely for not being able to answer that question, like, you know, in full. But I prefer to just kind of like be honest, than just kind of go, oh, you'll get it in about a year or a couple of months if you just do this, this, and this. You know, I don't believe in that. I think it's more of a case of it'll happen when it's ready. You know what I mean? You'll be able to do it when you're ready to do it, kind of thing. So you just have to wait, and it will come eventually. You just have to keep practicing and practicing and practicing. You know, and some days you'll hate it, some days you'll love it, some days you can't stand it, some days you want to throw the guitar out the window, some days you'll want to take it to bed with you. Not in a weird, kinky kind of way, but in a very kind of like, you know, you're my friend kind of way. Okay, so that was weird. Just ignore everything I just said. Or don't. It's burned! I need one of those things from Men in Black. Can I say Men in Black? Is that copyright protected? Anyone? Anyway. Moving along. But yeah, I can't honestly say how long it'll take you to be able to do a guitar solo like that, because I really don't know. To put a time on it would be really disingenuous to me, for my opinion. It'd just be like, well, you can't say that because you don't know. You know what I mean? I can't tell you how long it's going to take you, I'm afraid. It's just one of those things where you just got to go through it and, like, you know, and wait. And when it's ready, it'll come to you naturally. One day you won't be able to do it. The next day you'll wake up, go to your guitar, and there it'll be. It's literally like that. It's really weird. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that, but like I said, I'd rather be honest than be just like say, oh, I'll just do this, this, and this, and you'll be away, because that isn't true, and it's not right. It's not right at all. That won't go under the scratch plate. I'll put it in the strings, but I'll probably need it in a second. So I can't say I hope that's answered your question, because I don't think it has. So I do apologise immensely to you for not being able to answer your question. But like I said, I'd rather be honest with you than just kind of like, you know, and not be honest, really, because I think it's really important to kind of like, you know, to just bear in mind that when you learn to start playing guitar, it's going to be a long time before you're able to do, well, not a long time, but it's going to be a while before you're competent and comfortable on the instrument to be able to do like certain things. You know, it just takes time. You know, there is no quick way to be able to learn to play guitar really well. You know, there's no shortcuts. There's no, you know, there's no way you can buy your way to playing guitar really, really well. It takes time, effort, and a lot of dedication, and a lot of just a lot of hours, minutes, seconds, you know, to understand it and to be able to do it. You know, it just takes time. There is no shortcut. There is absolutely no shortcut. And I don't like the idea of like, you know, I want to be able to play the guitar, but I don't want to have to wait to be able to be good at it. It's like, well, you shouldn't be playing the guitar, in my opinion. If you want to be good immediately at it, the guitar is not the instrument to you. I don't think a musical instrument is for you, because it takes years. Like I said, I've been playing 17 years, and this in May. I've been playing 17 years in May, and you know, if you think about 17 years, that's a long time. You know, my guitar playing is in its teenage years now, just started its teenage years, and it's like it literally just takes such a long period of time. You know, all these greats and stuff, they start when they're 6 or whatever, and it's like it does take a long time. There is no quick route. If you're after a quick kind of like, you know, I've been playing guitar 2 months, why can't I play Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child? It's like, well, you're not going to be able to. Yeah, but that's just the way that is. You can't play that after 2, unless you're like, you know, one of those weird, creepy virtuosos who just like, you know, just able to do it like, you know, like, I don't know, can't think of an example. But yeah, I mean, there's not many of them in the world. So, you know, and especially not really on guitar, you know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of practice to be able to kind of just do it straight off the bat. And you can get to a point, this is another thing that's really important to me, I think. You can get to a point where you can solo, because I was there for a long, long time, where you can solo and you can really shred and you can really play and you can really, really solo really, really well, really, really comfortably. But my question is, can you feel it? Because this is what I've been working on for absolutely years. When I was in another band that I was in ages ago called Gimbal, I was like, I was the lead guitarist, and basically my guitar solos consisted of just as fast as I could go. You know, really, really fast, almost shred guitar solos, really, really fast. And well, not really, really fast, but fast. I could never play really, really fast. But anyway, it wasn't long after that I started to go, there's nothing in this. It's like, yeah, you can wow people out. People go, wow, that's really impressive. But you're not really doing anything to reach out and touch them and speak to them on a higher level. And this is the important thing. This is what I always think about the guitar solo. Guitar solo's got to say something. It's got to have a feel to it. It's got to have emotion and feel. And that's what all these great guitar solos have that you hear. It's like, you know, you hear like Comfortably Numb. You hear Voodoo Child, you hear the Scar Tissue solos, John Frusciante, you hear Peter Green, you know, Rory Gallagher, you know, countless other guitarists. They've got so much emotion and feel and so much kind of like oomph because of that. And you know, Peter Green could kind of go like well, it sounds weird on this guitar because it's in a weird tuning, but he could play one note and you're just like, holy gravy. You know, same with Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante and Dave Gilmour and Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck. You know, they could all do these minimalist things and just make you feel a million emotions all at once. It's just like, wow. And once I started to get into that, it wasn't soon after I left kind of like London, after I'd been studying at the IACMP in London. I wanted to get into that. I wanted to get away from the whole technical side of understanding musical theory. I wanted to understand how my guitar solos can actually say something about the way I feel and how can I translate that to other people so when I play they feel it as well, and if they're going through something it could help them. If you know what I mean. It might sound a bit weird, but that's what I want from my guitar playing. That's all I want from my guitar playing. I don't care about modes or super Locrian or like, you know, trying to improve technically on the guitar. I want to improve on a feel basis. I want to be able to play how I feel and for people to understand when I play exactly how I feel. You know what I mean? When I play a note, I want people to really get it. You know what I mean? And I'm struggling with that because that's what I'm working on. It's really hard. It's really difficult. I think that's a lot more difficult than just being an amazing technical guy. To play one note that just says like a million things at the right point in the song is really, 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 really difficult. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's what I want. That's what I want out of guitar playing. I want to be a feel-based guitarist. I don't want to be a technical guitarist. I just want to be feel-based. I want people to really feel what I'm trying to push out on the guitar. You know what I mean? I want to feel those emotions. I really want to reach out and grab you and take you on an emotional kind of like roller coaster ride, or just a nice jaunt through the woods, or on a nice sunny day, or whatever. You know what I mean? With no kind of like preconceived idea of like, hey, look what I can do on guitar. Watch me shred. Don't want that. I don't want that. If you want that, that's cool. I'm not going to say that's wrong because it's not. It's what you want to do. I'm not saying that. But for me personally, I just want to be able to kind of reach out and grab people and make them, if they're feeling something and it makes them feel better, that's what I want. You know what I mean? I really want people to kind of like just feel what I'm trying to get out there on a guitar. It's really hard to explain. It's actually kind of annoying that I can't find the right kind of words. But music to me is such a high level thing that just widdly guitar, it's not saying anything. It's not emoting you. It's just a technique. It's just muscle memory. You're just going through the motions. Whereas if you literally throw everything you've got into a guitar solo, all the emotion you can summon up, all the anger, all the sadness, all the, you know, all this kind of, you can just like bottle it into this instrument and get it out through these speakers and through these pedals and through this guitar into the fretboard and out to people, and it just gets to somebody, and it makes them, if they're having a rubbish day and it makes them feel better, you're doing your job. Or if they're having a great day and it makes their day even better, you're doing your job. And that is so important to me, and I get really passionate about it. But it's so important for me to be able to kind of like play how I feel and be able to kind of like get that across to you people out there. It's really important. I'm not interested in being really flashy and guitar. You know, because I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that. I want to make music, and you can't make music if you're obsessed with just showing off. You know, you're not making music. You're showing off your ego. Music isn't about pandering to your ego. It's about serving the song. You know what I mean? You've got to say something, in my opinion, you know, that says something about you and what you want to say about that piece of music. Today got me, the intro jam today got me in a very, very strange kind of like, you know, trance kind of state. Because I'm having a lot of problems recently with my stupid blooming brain that's been driving me crazy. And it got me into this kind of weird pattern where I was just kind of like, I don't remember playing anything. I don't remember what I played or how I played it. I literally couldn't. If you said, oh, what's the lick you did at 3 minutes, if your backing track even lasted that long, I wouldn't know. I'd have to go back and watch it and figure it out, because I literally have no idea what I played. I have no idea, because I'm not conscious to it. I'm totally unconscious to it. So anyway, I have massively tangent on. We have to move on, because I've still got more questions to answer. I've got 3 more questions to answer. So anyway, I hope I made sense. I hope I didn't coming across like stupid there. So I do apologise if I'm looking like a total fool at this point in time. But like I say, that is really important to me, to be able to feel. Yeah, feel is so important to me. Over technique, any day of the week, I'll take feel. You know, if you want to shred, that's cool as well. But for me, it's just not. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. It's just a technique. It's like Paul Gilbert summed it up perfectly when he said shredding is just the Olympics on guitar, and I can't help but feel that's exactly what it is. That really struck a chord with me. No pun intended, but it kind of was. Maybe it was E minor. Anyway, is that copyrighted? Anyway, enough of the copyright jokes. Moving along. So yeah, like I say, I hope it's answered. Well, it hasn't really answered your question, but I do apologise. It's quite hard to answer that question. Okay, so moving on to question 4 now. Question 4 is, what is going on with John Frusciante's sound in the If You Have to Ask solo in the 1999 Sao Paulo performance? What are the high-pitched screechy screams he gets when he activates his pedals? It's just feedback. It's just that he kicks on his DS2 and his fuzz pedal at the same time, and because he's so loud and his clean tone is you know, that usual kind of like not clean John sound. I can't really do it on this guitar because I'm in baritone tuning. Isn't that glorious? But because his pedals are so high gain, as soon as he clicks them on over his semi-distorted clean tone, they just feed back immediately. I can kind of demonstrate. If I kick on the governor and the DS2, it'll squeal immediately. You know what I mean? It's like, so I can't do it. I've got the wrong guitar, and I haven't got a guitar around I can switch to quickly. Especially not the Hofner. That'll just fight me, and I can't get the lemon drop down. But when John's doing it, that kind of thing, and then he just goes to his pedals, it just screams at him immediately because he's got his volume all the way up, and it just does. So it's just his pedals feeding back immediately. It's the Kurt Cobain thing. So when you see Kurt Cobain come out on stage sometimes, and he just goes over to his DS1 or his DS2 or whatever pedal he had at the time, like the Sans amp later on in live, and you just hear him do that. That sounds muddy. But yeah, it's just feedback from his pedals, because they're quite high. Well, he had both together is quite high gain. He actually has the DS2 set quite... I think he has the DS2 set quite mildly. I don't think he has gain flat out on the DS2 during the Californication era, but it's quite, you know, 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock time. 4 o'clock rock. But yeah, so it's just his pedals squealing. It's just feedback from high gain pedals. His pedals being high gain. that is amazing at when he breaks his high E string. It's so cool. Okay, so I'm about to ask a question. Quite quick answer actually. That was Dave. Well done. Feels weird. Feels very weird. Anyway, but yeah, it's just screeching pedals. Okay, so moving on. Question 5 now, everybody. Question 5 is, how do you run a looper into a front end of a Boss Katana 50? Can you use your guitar's volume to clean up the sound well enough to create a backing track and then crank it up to get a lead tone without changing the settings on the amp? Yes, you can do that, but you might run the risk of the loop disappearing. I'm going to have to do a video on this with my Katana at some point. I did a video recently about running loopers into a front end and I used the MG, and I wish I'd used the Katana in that video as well. Because today the looper's running through the effects loop of the Katana 100. Because the 50 doesn't have it, which is a bit stupid in my opinion. That is like my one little criticism of the 50 is the fact they didn't have an effects loop, which I can't think of would have added more cost or value to the amplifier. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's a bit weird. I don't really know why Boss didn't put an effects loop in the 50. It's a bit of a strange design choice in my opinion. But yeah, you can do the whole thing of like, you know, if you go to like a distorted sound and roll your volume down and create a loop with a cleanish kind of tone and then set the loop going, you can do that. But when you crank up your lead tone, I think the problem you'll find is your loop will disappear. Much in the same way as you kind of see it at the beginning of, well, I explained it in the video I did recently on how to run a looper how I run a looper into a front end. So you might run into that. The best way I would do it, and the way I always do it, if I'm running a looper into a front end, is I use pedals, and I set the amp up super, super clean. So literally, like, you know, we're talking, you know, super, super, super clean. And then just kind of like use pedals over the top of it, really, to kind of create lead tones. So like if I was doing a loop, which I can show you quickly actually, because I actually do have a looper in the front end. So my Line 6 delay modeler now is going through the front end of the Katana 100. So this isn't effects loop, this is front end. So the amp is set up really clean. And then I've got the golden plexi on to add a bit more oomph to the clean. So if I now create a loop, okay, so I've got my loop going there. This is all, again, this is all into the front end. This is not effects loop. So now what I can do is, what I would do is then max out the volume on the looper so it's as loud as it can go. And then I would kick pedals in over the top of that to create my lead tone. I wouldn't use the amp because, well, one thing, you'll get this. If I start distorting the amp, the loop will distort now. So if I go to, so you don't want that. You don't want that. So that could be a bit of an issue. So that could be one of the issues you run into, definitely. The loop will distort or disappear, one or the other. So now I've got my loop, I would basically just use pedals over the top to create a solo thing. And I might have to alter the volume levels. So this is the governor. Too loud. Lower the volume. Too quiet. So that's what I would do personally. I wouldn't really go straight in without pedals. I would recommend using pedals if you want to run a looper into a front end. It just makes it more versatile, especially if you want to do really singy stuff, because I would then combine the governor with a DS2 over that and it'd sing. that's what I would recommend using pedals. I know you got lost then. I was like, came back to reality quick and going, no, you got more questions. You can't keep playing. So yeah, so that's what I would do. Really, I wouldn't really run straight into a front end using the volume to clean up the sound. I'd much rather recommend using pedals over the top of it. I think it'd be a bit more easy. Okay, and I'll have to do a video on that at some point, using the actual Katana 50 and just like explain it a bit better using the 50. But saying that, it's the same principle. So did I just explain that well enough? I don't know. My brain's saying you totally ruined that, Dave, because it hates me. But I don't know. Hopefully I explained what to do. Like I said, I would use pedals. I wouldn't really recommend kind of riding the volume control thing. You could have issues with loops disappearing or the loop distorting and it just sounding a bit naff. So I would use pedals. I would highly recommend using pedals if you're going to do a looper through the front end. It'll just make it sound clearer. Okay, so I hope that's answered the question. Moving on to question 6 now. Question 6, final question of the day, everybody. How much time have I got left? Not much. Okay, so question 6 today is, how do you think Flea influenced a lot of young players to start playing the bass? Just by being awesome. Just the same way as anybody does, influences anybody. Just literally, there's something in them that you just want to be. You want to be them. You know, and Flea is like that. I mean, when I play the bass, I want to be like Flea. I love playing the bass like Flea. You know, I like to slap bass like Flea. I can't do it. I'm rubbish. But I like to play Flea's bass lines. Or whenever I pick up a bass, I always play Soul to Squeeze or Scar Tissue or Don't Forget Me. Couldn't think of it. I don't think I play anything other than Chili Pepper songs when I pick up a bass, actually. It's a bit weird. I try to play Can't Stop, but that doesn't really work out very well. I'm terrible at it. I'm really terrible at it, but I enjoy it. But yeah, Flea, he's just a really cool, influential person. You know, he's got his own style, he's got his own sound, he's got his own personality on the instrument, which comes across in spades. And again, he's massively feel-based. You can feel his bass playing and his passion for the instrument. You know what I mean? He's really, it's genuine. He's a genuine human being who loves what he does and how he plays and what, you know, everything he does, he loves it. He really is just a genuine human being, and he's in it for the right reasons. I think that's why. And it's the same as anybody. All my heroes, they're inspired me because they do something that makes me go, I want to be like them. You know what I mean? There's something about them that makes me go, I want to be that. I want that. I want to be like them. You know, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with kind of like wanting to be like your heroes at all. You know what I mean? People say, oh no, you shouldn't play like your heroes. You should just like play like yourself. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but the fact of the matter is, you sound like yourself when you fail to sound like your heroes. You need heroes to be able to get off the starting block. If you don't have heroes, you'll never pick up the guitar in the first place, or the bass, or the drums. You know, you don't just randomly go to it one day and go, I'm going to play this, and just kind of like immediately have your own style. It doesn't work that way. You know, your style, no matter who you are, is a melting pot of all your heroes. You know, when you listen to John Frusciante, you can hear bits of Jimmy Page in there. You can hear all sorts. You can hear Robert Fripp. You can hear everything. When you listen to Jimi Hendrix, you can hear Curtis Mayfield. You can hear Wes Montgomery. You can hear Buddy Guy. You can hear all these guys in there playing. Peter Green is B.B. King. You know, Albert King. He's all sorts of these. You know, all these guitarists in one, and that makes him Peter Green. You know, you really are. You are yourself are a melting pot for all your heroes. So you take what you want from certain guitarists, and then you make that, you mix that, with another thing. So if you like a lick that Jimi Hendrix does, and you want to combine that with a lick that Jeff Beck did, then all of a sudden you've got your own lick that you've made out of these two, and then you're a melting pot of both those artists. You know what I mean? So I don't agree with when people say, oh, you need to just play like yourself. Don't try and sound like anybody else but yourself. It's like, yeah, but if you do that, then you're never going to sound like you, because you need your heroes to influence you to sound like you in the first place. And like I say, I think it was John Mayer who said, like, yeah, you sound like yourself when you fail to sound like your heroes, which is so true. So true. You know, absolute words of wisdom there from Mr. Mayer. It really was. I mean, he's absolutely inspired. That sentence is absolutely inspired, and it's so true. So anybody who says, oh, you should just, not try and sound like Jimi Hendrix or John Frusciante or this, that, and the other, in my opinion, you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? This is my opinion, because you need all these influences for you to be able to do what you do. You know, you can't do it without heroes and influences and wanting to sound like people. I always want to sound like Jimi Hendrix, John Frusciante, Peter Green, and Rory Gallagher. And Mike McCready as well. I want to sound like those 5 guys smashed together into one. That's what I want to sound like. I want that kind of like melodicness of John Frusciante tinged with the immense feel of John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix and Peter Green. I want the intensity of Mike McCready and Rory Gallagher. And that's what I want. And I want the feel of them all. You know what I mean? So that's it. And I think Flea's the same kind of thing. You know, Flea, you can hear so many influences in his playing from all sorts of different places. There's Jaco Pastorius, there's Marcus Miller. You know, there's all sorts of these, different kind of like funk bass players, rock bass players, punk bass players. You know, the Ramones. You can hear the Ramones. You can hear, Sex Pistols. You can hear also. You can hear, you can definitely hear kind of like that punky thing to Flea's bass line sometimes. You know, you can hear all sorts in Flea, and that's the point. But because of that, he's himself. He's got his own sound and his own style and his own technique, because he's a melting pot of all his heroes. You know, whether it be whoever, he's absolutely melting pot, and he's absolutely influential because of that reason, I feel. Because, he just really is. He's just an absolute awesome. He's just awesome. He's just absolutely awesome. Okay, so you also asked, what do I think of Flea in general? I love Flea. He's one of those people in my life I would just adore to meet him. I never expected anything from this, and I knew it was stupid, but I thought I would try and reach out to him. So I sent him a message on Instagram, and lo and behold, nothing happened. So I did a video on my Instagram, and I tagged him in this little loop I did for him. I came up with a loop for him, and I soloed over it, and there's a minute of it on my Instagram, and I tagged him in it saying, "This is for you, Flea." And awesomely, loads of people tagged Flea in the comments section saying you should check this out, which again I'm just like massively appreciative of, and that just is so heartwarmingly awesome. I literally that could almost bring me to tears how much that means to me. It really does, absolutely. It just makes me, oh god, I don't have the words to. I'm so grateful for the people who did that on Instagram. It really does mean a lot to me. But nothing came from it. I didn't expect anything to come from it. But if you don't, and I won't, I won't try again. Or I might. I don't know. Will he see it? No, he probably won't. I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody to him. He's a far too busy person to be looking at little old Dave on Instagram or YouTube. But the man's an influence on me, and he's a hero of mine. Flea is a hero of mine, and I would love to meet him, and it'd be one of my dreams to jam with him, because I would love that. It's like one of my all-time favourite. It's one of my all-time little fantasies is playing with Flea. Just jamming with him. I don't care where or how or whatever. If I could do that just once in my life, I'd be a happy bunny. Do I think it'll happen? No, not in a million years. I don't feel for 1 second I'll ever get that opportunity, which really is quite heartbreaking. But I feel it's almost that kind of thing. If you think it won't happen and it does happen, it's a bonus. But if you don't think it's going to happen, you're never going to be disappointed. Even though it is heartbreaking to think that, you're never going to meet your heroes. Because I don't think I'll ever get to meet John Frusciante, and it's one of those things where I'd absolutely adore to meet John and talk to him. I'd love to meet Jimi Hendrix and Rory Gallagher, but sadly that can't happen. I'd love to meet Mike McCready as well. Mike McCready is one of those other guitarists who has massively influenced me, and I would love to meet Mike McCready. And I've actually reached out to Mike McCready as well, but never heard anything back. Peter Green's another person I'd like to meet as well. I really want to meet Peter Green. I want him to sign my Lemon Drop, but again, will it happen? Probably not, because it's weird. It's trying to get through to people like that is really difficult. There's always things in the way, so to say. So when I messaged Flea and did this loop for him, he probably never even saw it. He probably never even came up on his feed or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because you can imagine how much stuff like that he gets a day. So yeah, it is one of my all-time dreams to jam with Flea, as it is, I'm sure, a lot of people. And it would complete a certain point of my life to do that, because I technically have jammed with Flea my entire guitar playing life, because when I first started playing Chili Peppers, I was playing along to By the Way, and that's basically me playing in the Chili Peppers. In my, it's silly to say, but in my opinion, it's like I'm in the Chili Peppers when I'm playing along to their albums or their, or their live CDs. You know what I mean? It's like, you are part of the band because you're still playing along with them. You're not playing along to just a backing track. You are playing along with human beings who are playing along with each other. You know what I mean? They're all interacting, and you're interacting with them. Fair enough, it's not at that point in time, and you're not on stage with them, but you are still interacting, and it makes me very happy to do that. And it's one of my favourite things to do is play along to Chili Peppers CDs over anybody, especially the Hyde Park Live CD. I have worn that thing out of playing over top of it. But yeah, I would love to meet Flea, and I'd love to jam with Flea, and I'd love to talk to him and just do I think it'll happen? No, I don't. Would I like it to? Yeah, more than anything, bro. Well, more than quite a lot of things, but such is life. Such is life, eh? Anyway, why is that not going on properly? There we go. No, it's not going on properly. That's weird. I'm gonna have to figure this out. But yeah, like I say, Flea is an influence on me because. Like I say, I have been jamming along to him for ages, and I always, when I watched the Giza Pyramid gig, I'm nearly out of time, so I'm going to have to rush this one. When I was watching the Giza Pyramid gig, I got bored of Josh. I'm sorry for people who like Josh. I can't. I just don't like him in Chili Peppers. Love his guitar playing, love his energy, and I love his singing. I love everything about him, but he doesn't fit. And I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but again, it's just my opinion. It's kind of there is a point to it. Flea would start these jams, and by about 4 songs in, I was a bit fed up. So I got my Boss Katana Mini on my desk where I was watching it. I got my white Strat, and I was playing along to the songs, and I was just making up parts. And Flea would just get into these jams, and Josh wouldn't join in, but Chad would. And then I was jamming with him, and I was just like, this is what it must feel like. And it was amazing, and I was getting really excited and really kind of like pumped up, so to say, about oh my god, I'm actually kind of like, this is what it'd feel like. So it made me really, really happy. And to do that in person would be out of this world. It'd be out of this world. But again, will it happen? I doubt it. But like I say, I might do another video on Instagram and try and get it through to Flea somehow. You know what I mean? I know some people have got through to him and he's appeared on other YouTube channels and stuff. But I don't know. All I can say is I can hope and dream. That's all I can do. Is I have daydreamed about. I daydream probably about it every day of just one day I might get to meet Flea and actually play with him or play with him and Chad, which is the next level. Actually jam with those two would be even more amazing. But deep down inside, I do feel it's not going to happen, and that is heartbreaking to feel that deep down. It really is, because it's kind of one of those like life dreams that you have. You always have those little fantasies about one day I'm going to be on stage in front of thousands of people at Wembley Stadium doing this and this and this, and it's like sadly not all of us get to live that dream, sadly, and it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a very hard pill to swallow, especially if you've worked really hard for it. It's really hard to swallow, but you'll never get that. I do look at Noel Gallagher or Flea or John Frusciante, and I look at their lives and think about the memories they have of touring and gigging in gigs and playing and not having a care in the world other than the fact of they need to just turn up and play. And I just think how much I would like that, and how much I would love that, and how much that's what I want out of music. I just want to be able to play music to people. No ulterior motive. I don't care about being rich and famous. I just want to make music for people and play to people who want to hear it. And it really makes me happy to think there's a possibility, but it's a 50-50. It's a flip of a coin. It'll be heads or it'll be tails. Yes or no. It'll be one or the other, and I don't know which one that'll ever be. So, I know which one I'd like it to be, but that's not reality. That's not life. You know what I mean? It's just because you want something really bad doesn't mean you're ever going to get it. It's a strange thing. Life is. It's a very strange thing. It likes to dangle things in front of your face that you can't actually reach. It's the donkey with the carrot. You know, it really is. It's heartbreaking, to be honest with you. It really is, and that's all I. You know, that's it might seem like a lot to ask, but I don't know. I don't know, people of the tube. I don't know. What are your aspirations, people of the tube? Let me ask you, what are your aspirations when you play guitar? You know, what is it that made you want to play guitar? Mine was, I just loved the guitar. I had no motive other than the fact that I just love playing the guitar. It's all I care about. You know what I mean? When it comes down to kind of like, what's your motive for playing guitar? It's like, because I love it. You know what I mean? I haven't got the words to describe it or down. It's funny, but I just love the guitar. I love everything about it. I love the noises it makes, and I love the feel of it and how it makes me feel and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm gonna have to shut up because I'm running out of time. So anyway, I hope I answered your questions okay, everybody, and I will see you again very soon for another video. I'll see you on Friday for another video. I don't know what it's gonna be yet. I'll figure that out on the day. But thank you so much for watching, everybody else. I hope I've answered your questions okay, apart from that one which I don't feel like I answered at all. But and I do apologise for that immensely. I'm very, very sorry. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'll see you again very soon for another vid. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and goodbye now. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, and by the way, backing track was in baritone tuning, so it's in B. So it was in this. It's actually in E minor. The backing track is in E minor, but I'm actually playing in B. Because I'm really enjoying this tuning right now, and it's because I wanted to learn Parabol and Parabola by Tool. So I'm in baritone tuning with gauge 10s, and it works. You gotta be a bit light-handed, but it's nice. I really love it as a tuning. It's really nice. Sounds glorious. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. Backing track will be up tomorrow, everybody, for this, so you can play along with it in E minor. You don't have to play along down-tuned at all. It's just that I did today to sort of a different tonality. But you can play along with it in E minor, I think. If it's not E minor, then I will put it in the description box. Well, actually. Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I knew I'd run out of time. I filled the memory card, so I had to go and free some memory up quickly. But yeah, so like I said, the backing track was in baritone tuning, basically. So it's like B, E, A, D, something. B, D, A, B, E, A, D, F sharp, and B. That's what it's in. So, but again, you don't have to play along to it in baritone tuning. You can play along it in the standard tuning in E minor, I do believe. Yeah, it'll be E minor. So anyway, yeah, backing track will be up tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. Like I say, I hope I've answered your questions okay, and I will see you again very soon for another video. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, and yeah, see you on Friday. Have a great one. Till then, goodbye now. Thank you very much for watching.